Welcome to the We Are Self-Made podcast. This show is not your traditional show on entrepreneurship with witty quotes about failing fast and often, but an honest look at the good, bad, and ugly. It's an experiment, documenting the journeys of 7 entrepreneurs over time. Today, I get the 3rd out of 5 updates from Adrian. He's known for publishing more than 200 Kindle ebooks. He's a Kindle ebook publisher. And thanks for coming back on the show, Adrian. Welcome.
Thanks for having me once again.
Last month you spent in Thailand. That's where we met a couple of times. And now you're back in Australia. How is it being back?
Yeah, it's nice. It's summer right now, so I think it's probably hotter here than it is in Thailand right now, which is nice. But it's good to see family, but I do miss Thailand. I really do love Chiang Mai, but I'll be back soon.
Well, when are you planning to come back?
February.
February, before the burning season?
Yeah, the Nomad Summit. I plan to come just for that for the first week of February, and then I'll probably go down south to the islands, or I'm not too sure just yet, but I'll be coming back in February.
Nice. And before we deep dive into your monthly wins and tasks which were not completed last month, where you need to recommend, and things you have learned over the last month, I want to ask you, what about Christmas holidays? Will you be taking time off? What kind of traditions will you be engaging in the next days?
So I'll spend Christmas here with my close family in Melbourne, and then on the 27th of December, I'm heading up to Newcastle.
Mm-hmm.
I've got family up there, so I'll head up there until the 31st, and then I fly back to Melbourne on the 31st. So I'll have a few days there, visiting some family, visiting grandparents, cousins, and then I guess I'll have a little bit of a break during that time, and then coming back, starting the new year in Melbourne.
Okay, what does little bit of a break mean? So you're going to be working an hour or two a day, or nothing at all?
Yeah, well, I'm going to drive up there with my family, and then I'm flying back. So during the car ride, it's a 10-hour car ride to Sydney. So I'll be on my computer in the car. I can do a lot of work then. But other days, it'll just be, like an hour or two, perhaps. Mostly I'll just be with family. I've got a lot of family there, so I'll be going from place to place a lot. I won't really have any time to work. So
nice.
The car ride, yeah.
So tell us about the last month. I know that Chiang Mai stood for an intense period of getting shit done. You wanted to publish a lot of ebooks. Tell us where you started and where you ended in terms of numbers, and what did you accomplish?
Okay, so for November, during that month before I came to Chiang Mai, I came to Chiang Mai halfway through November, and then our call was just after that. For November, I ended up making around 5,000 in total from my new account. And I went to Chiang Mai having, I think it must have been, let me think now. I published 9 books while I was there, and I now have 16 books published in my new account. And then I have a secondary new account where I published, while I was in Chiang Mai, I published an additional 6. So, during the month, I published 9 books total, 3 to my old account. So it had 13. Okay, so my original new account had 13 books when I came across and I last spoke to you.
Yeah.
Since then, I've added 3 books to that. And then I've also started a third account, which I've added 6 to. For November, from my newest account that has the most books, that made me around 5,000, which was a really good month in total. And then for December, it's already made me around 8,000. So it's been a big spike because of Christmas. So I don't know how much those sales can be attributed to my work and how much is attributed to sales spike because of Christmas. But between my 3 Kindle accounts and the course I sell, I've already had over 10,000 in revenue this month. So that kind of ticks off one of the goals that we set at the start of this. But it is going to Christmas, so I'm hoping I can back it up and still do well in January. But so far this has been my best month ever.
Wow, congratulations. How did you celebrate it?
I haven't really celebrated it much yet. I'm looking forward to taking some time off over Christmas. That's kind of like my first break.
Nice.
Since I've got home, I've still been working, so
Nice. And you
a
said
couple more days
and you
rest.
and you said like as part of your strategy, and so you've with your first account and your first podcast that we recorded, I think it was in April or May this year. There you, and as I introduced you to with, you published 200 books, and then over the year you realized that you want to engage in more high quality books that can last longer, and it seems like your strategy is paying off now.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely. So that first account with the 200 books, I don't even open that other than once a month to check the sales because lots of those books are bad and they're not worthwhile. And that this month it'll make me around $2,000, maybe just over $2,000 from 200 books.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this second account, which now has 16 books, it looks like it's going to make $9,000 or $10,000. And then the third account, which only has 6 books, should come close to $1,000. So it's a small number of books making way more than the 200 books. So, the quality makes a huge, huge difference.
Yeah. How, so could you explain me and the listeners what kind of shifts or little tactic shifts you did when it comes to quality? Is it like the obvious things, or did you really sit down and think, how can I increase the quality? Is it based on keyword research? What is your quality based on that now pays off?
Okay, so the first thing is making the book longer. So I used to make books that were sort of 5,000 or 6,000 words. Now I begin with 10,000 words as a bare minimum. I would pay my writers to write 10,000 words, and now I've been personally writing an extra 2,000 or 3,000 on most of my books on top of that. So that ends up making them a longer length.
Mm-hmm.
Also, that depends on the competition as well. If the competition has books that offer more than my book does, yet we're charging the same price, then I need to step my game up. I need to add more value. I need to make it longer. I need to add more chapters on the different topics that the competition is talking about and that the reader is interested in. And then sometimes as well, it's just a matter of getting feedback. So my best-selling book at the moment, it's making a heap of money. It's ridiculous. I've never done this well from one single book, but it's got a few negative reviews lately. And so what I've done, what I've been working on since I've got back to Australia is improving that book. And so it was initially 10,700 words. And at the moment, over the last few days, I've been writing and adding to that, and it's at about 19,000 now. So I want to get, over 20,000 words in total. It'll be double the length that it initially was. And hopefully, when you print it, it'll be 2 to 3 times the length as a paperback book, and people will start being a lot happier with that, and those sales will continue to come in because it is a quality book, and the negative reviews should at that point hopefully stop. So it's different between every book. People have different expectations as to what a high quality book is. You can't please everyone, but always just trying to ask yourself, will you be happy with buying this book at that price? So that's what I try and do.
Yeah. And for me, it's an interesting lesson that you just spoke to my heart, which is you can launch stuff fairly quickly, and then it helps you to learn, but you want to launch stuff which is fairly okayish or fairly good, right? That people buy it. But then the key lesson I learned here is constantly be improving. If you found something that people like, and then the first negative reviews you get, then you need to counteract on them. You need to make it longer, you need to make it better, you need to address those concerns, address these negative feedbacks. And I feel like, especially my German tendency is always like, I want it to be perfect from day one. But you just proved that, first of all, quality can be improved over time, and it should be, right?
Yeah. I think that it's important to have the book be quality from the start. If I can avoid getting negative reviews altogether, then awesome. But I won't be too perfectionist with it. I won't spend too much time making it the best book ever because it's not proven yet.
Mm-hmm.
So I try and make it good quality, and hopefully, the customer's happy with the quality I provide. But once it starts selling well, I always want to just try and make it amazing, make it way better, especially if it gets negative reviews. So always definitely be improving.
Yeah.
For sure.
And that's another interesting question to answer as an entrepreneur. How do you know that the quality of your project, be it a book, a course, you name it, a blog, a podcast, a YouTube channel, how do you know the quality is good enough to go out there?
Okay, so the ways I can kind of test quality is, because it's a book, I can read that book myself, and I can kind of ask myself, will I be happy with the value that I've received from that book and the information that I've gotten if I was the customer? If I'd paid, $8 for that book, would I have been happy? And then the second way that I do it is just through customer feedback. So I like to get some organic, positive reviews coming in of people that are happy with it. There's always going to be some people that leave negative reviews, like even Harry Potter has negative reviews on Amazon, so you can't please everyone, but just getting that feedback from a few customers, I think that really confirms that it's a good product, be it a podcast or a course or a book or whatever.
Would you also agree that it just takes time, that you almost need to publish a few shitty books and then you move your way up to better books, and then you see the better performing ones compared to the less performing ones, and then you get a feel towards like, is this good quality or not? So what I'm trying to say is, like, based on your experience of launching stuff, you can now better tell what is quality versus what is not quality as compared to your mental state in the beginning.
Probably not much of a difference. I think with a book, I think it's quite easy to tell if it's quality. You can just put yourself in the customer's shoes. But what changed with me was when I first started Kindle publishing, I was just focused on the money rather than providing value. I didn't kind of link up that they were connected.
Yeah.
I was happy making a small amount from every book and just having heaps of bad books that were going to sell. But now I'm realizing the key is to have a smaller number and make them really high quality, provide value, make sure the customer's happy, and then you're going to have long-term customers. So my mindset's going to change. It's more long-term now, but I think anyone can sort of tell if their product's at least decent quality.
I like this realization a lot about less money-driven, more value-driven, which then in turn brings you more money, right? As you just said.
Yeah. It's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's fascinating. And that's one of the advices we always get from the big guys up there, right? Like how to start a business, how to become an entrepreneur. And they always say, be value-driven. Always provide more value every day than you receive. And then you will be successful. It sounds like such a cliche, but you just nailed it.
Yeah. It's definitely tough when you're not making any money to understand. But once you start selling a product, like, you can test the results, and the quality products, they always win. Even if it takes longer, it always wins.
Yeah, I agree. As I told you before, I was recording my weekly diary, and one of my goals for the new year, before I go back to Germany, I have another 2 months in Chiang Mai. So what I'm going to be doing is 4 online courses that I'm going to launch on Udemy.
Nice.
Because I looked into Kindle ebook publishing. As you know, you taught me your step-by-step guide, and was like, oh, this is something. But what I truly want to do is teaching, like being in front of the camera, teaching people. And I gonna apply your lessons. Is this a course I would like to be a student in? And then I just teach with my heart and the knowledge I acquired. So, and that's my goal. And let's see how well I do in terms of providing value. But I mean,
I'm sure you do well.
You teach me a lot. When it comes to uncompleted tasks, is there anything left open, like when it comes to your time in Chiang Mai?
Well, yeah, for my goals for Chiang Mai, I had planned to write more books. I planned to write 7 books myself, and I think I ended up getting only 3 books written by myself. I underestimated how big of a goal that was.
Yeah.
And then the other thing was I planned to publish 12 books while I was there, and I only published 9 books. But I wasn't really bothered by that at all. I have the books ready to go. It's just my virtual assistants weren't ready for them, and it's a crazy time of year right now. So I didn't really want to rush that just for the sake of ticking off the goal. It's still going to happen. It might just be delayed by a week or 2, but overall, I'm pretty happy with what I achieved. I thought I set months and to get my way. I'm pretty happy over.
Nice. I'm happy to hear this. Is there anything that you learned in Chiang Mai about yourself in becoming a better entrepreneur, becoming a better human being? Any breakthrough, any learning you would like to share?
I mean, I met a lot of different people, and they kind of tell me about what they do online, and that's kind of opened my mind up to different possibilities. I suppose nothing massive has changed, but maybe my mindset's a little bit more abundant now. It's been my best month ever. Like the sales have been higher than I ever expected, so that kind of for me has sort of broken my reality a little bit and showed me that it's possible to make more than I initially thought. So that could be one thing. Yeah, it's kind of more of an abundance mentality. It seems easier for me to make money now, I suppose, if that makes sense.
It makes sense. And where does it come from? Is it making money initially by yourself and then speaking to other ones who are making more money? Where does this shift come from?
I think a combination. So making more money myself kind of confirms that my method can make more money than I had expected it would for myself. And then the second would be, meeting other people. Not that they're necessarily making a lot of money, but that they're making money doing all these different methods that I didn't realize you could use to make money, or that were still, valuable, and how easy it seems to be for them to make money with these methods. So it's kind of showing me that it doesn't have to be super hard to earn an income compared to the typical, go to university, go to a job, get a promotion. It can be a lot quicker to, make money all different ways, and it's really not as hard as people make it out to be. So
what was a surprising method people make money where you thought like, what the fuck, really?
There's been a couple. So I met some guys out in Chiang Mai, a couple that have a website selling sort of really spiritual products, and they were making $300,000 or $400,000 a year selling these obscure products that I didn't think anyone would be that interested in. I didn't know you could make that money selling them. And then the other one was niche websites. I kind of thought that was a bit of a dead method, using affiliate marketing to make money from niche websites. But apparently there's still a lot of people doing well with that. So I talked to some people about SEO, and I've looked into that a little bit as a potential project for later next year. But it seems to be a really passive method of income, and I thought that was something that people did like 5 years ago and it didn't work anymore, but it seems to still be working. So that opened my mind up again.
Yeah. And there's always like those little hacks in each business model and in each platform that you can't even know before starting, right? And two I learned is like, you taught me one, and I hope it's okay if I share it, but you told me about a really good selling book. And as soon as it starts selling well, you can increase the price every day.
Yeah.
And what happens is, or maybe you explain it. You're the expert. Please explain it.
Okay. So it only works sometimes, but on CreateSpace, where you publish the paperback books, if it's selling really well, let's say you start the book at $7.99. If you increase it to $8.99, sometimes Amazon will continue to sell it for $7.99 for the original price, but they'll pay you as if you charge $8.99. And if it keeps selling well, you can continue to keep increasing that price over time. It doesn't work forever, but Amazon does it with some of the best-selling books, just to try and get more sales coming through the door and attracting more customers. Even though sometimes I think they're going to make a loss on those sales, it's their kind of business model to just get as many customers in as possible. So that's a good little strategy to get a lot more sales, but get a lot more profit per sale. So that's it is a good little hack.
Yeah, that's a little hack. And another hack is, and again, it's Amazon, and it's based on affiliate marketing and those niche sites, right? You might not make the massive amount of money with the products you recommend, but everyone who is reading your blog and clicks on your affiliate link to Amazon, you are cookied for 24 hours, and whatever you buy in the 24 hours will be affiliated towards your account. So that was interesting for me too. Have you heard about this?
Yeah, I have. Yeah. I had heard about that. That's interesting because I've seen it on some people's income reports where they promote products, and then these random products that other people are buying are making the money.
Yeah.
So they might buy the product they promoted, but they might buy 5 other random things, and they still make money from it, which it's definitely a cool little hack.
Yeah.
Cool little fact. Yeah.
And probably, I mean, if you do this professionally, you might gonna end up, you can use this as part of your business model, right? But I think starting a niche site, planning to sell the products you really want to sell, that should be your business model. And once in a while, you can use those hacks, as you said, with your book price increasing hack or this kind of 24-hour cookie hack. There will be always hacks you can explore to make a little bit more money, but I feel they shouldn't be at the core of your business model. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely would agree. Yeah, I think like what you said before, providing value has to be at the core. So no matter what you're doing, it has to be based around that core value. And then these little hacks are the 1% and 2%ers.
Yeah.
They help you like a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what I feel about my own journey. And when I look at other people's, not getting the basics right, not getting the foundation right. Mm-hmm. I'm always looking for overnight success, overnight like quick fixes. And I'm realizing more and more, no, get the basics right and then invest in the basics. And investing into the basics might even take years. But I'm so impatient, Adrian. I'm so impatient that it takes forever. But I know it's the right thing to do. But still, I suck at it, right? It takes me forever.
Me too. I think everyone is the same.
Yeah,
it's tough. Yeah.
So what will you be doing in the next 6 weeks until we will speak next? What's on your priority list?
Okay, so the next 6 weeks, I want to, for this second account that currently has 16 books, I have another 8 books that I'd like to publish to that, bringing it to a total of 24. I'd like to get that done within the next 6 weeks. And that's where I'd like to leave that account. I want to improve a few of the books there, and the goal with that account is actually in a few months' time to sell it. So while I was in Chiang Mai, I talked to some people at Empire Flippers about selling accounts, and so that's something I think I'm going to explore is selling that account. So what I'd like to do is get those 24 books up as soon as possible, which would be within the next 6 weeks, and then get it listed for sale pretty quickly. So I can get a quick sale and get that done hopefully by the middle of next year.
Nice.
That's the main focus. That is pretty much it for the next 8 weeks. I would like to publish some more books to my third account, but I'm not really in a rush. That's kind of just for me as like a monthly income. But this original account is my number one priority right now, getting as many books there, getting them high quality, getting them selling, just so it's as valuable as it can be when I go to sell it. So
So kind of your approach shifted from monthly recurring income towards selling an asset and then moving on.
Absolutely, yeah. So I still want to I have my original account that has the 200 books that I don't touch, and that still makes me enough to kind of get by in places like Thailand. I have my course, which I don't promote much, and that brings me a little bit of extra cash as well. And then this third account that only has 6 books right now, I'm going to try and build that up slowly over the next year. And hopefully the monthly income of those 3 assets combined will be enough to cover all of my living expenses and travel expenses. And then the sale of this one account will just allow me to have cash in the bank and to go and invest in something if, the opportunity arises. So that's the idea. It's just a bit more security in my mind, having the cash there rather than relying on Amazon.
Yeah, I like it. It's like how does it motivate you to have this instead of recurring monthly income, the jump to, this could be an exit. I didn't know before. Yeah. I could be selling an Amazon account. Now I know, and it could bring me up to 50, 60, 70K.
Yeah. If I didn't have any other recurring incomes or Amazon accounts, I wouldn't want to sell it. But because I can sell it, because I have other accounts bringing me money, I can still live. Selling it is extremely motivating to me right now because even if I'm making good money, like this month, I'm having my best month ever, it's still not easy to relax always because my income is derived from Amazon. So if something goes wrong, if Amazon decides they don't like me, then it's gone. But if I can sell it, bank a good amount of cash, then that cash is there. No one's going to touch it. So it's just for me, less risk. It makes me feel a bit more secure. So I want to get it done. I want to get it done well and done quickly. Yeah.
Nice. We once spoke about, just like as end of our discussion today, how are you from a physical standpoint? You did some tests and now they turned out to be well. And do you have the numbers? And is it still an issue or is it all gone now?
Yeah, I don't know the numbers off the top of my head. So what I had was Graves' disease, and they measure that by testing the Graves antibodies in your blood. And the second time I got tested, which was just before I came out to Thailand, I was completely clear of those. So I don't have a checkup until I think 2 or 3 weeks from now. So I'll have one between when we next speak.
Okay.
But so the Graves antibodies are gone, but my thyroid was still not functioning 100% normal. It was sort of within a normal range, but not within an optimal range. So I've got a little bit more work to do, but I think things are going the right direction. I didn't stick to my diet perfectly in Chiang Mai. I think it's pretty hard to. It's a very social place.
Yeah.
But now I'm back home. The next 6 or 7 weeks while I'm home will be very strict. So.
Okay, I'm going to be following up on this one next chat. And as always, I highly appreciate it. Thanks for taking the time. Thanks for sharing an update, another update. Curious to see where this journey leads you. And if as we agreed on, we might going to stop after 5 sessions, but I want to see and then speak in summer. And what I'm trying to do is right now we will speak about it off interview. We might even going to continue it because for John it's really beneficial and maybe for you even as well to hold each other accountable. What would be your first reaction? Would you like to continue this for another 3 or 4 episodes to the summer, or is this like a too big of a time commitment?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's been great. After I sell my account, I'm not sure what my goals will be. I don't even know where I'm planning to go, what I'm planning to do. I might take some time off, so there might not be much progress in between calls, but I'll be more than happy to. This has been really good being held accountable. It's helped me for sure.
Perfect. Okay. Let's talk about it another time. I wish you and your family great Christmas holidays. Enjoy your time even up north with a bigger family of yours. And then have a really good New Year's Eve party. And I'm looking forward to connecting with you soon.
Cheers. Thanks, mate. Talk to you soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
StartupGeist Podcast. Entrepreneurs are not born. We are self-made. Please leave an honest rating on iTunes or leave a comment on startupgeist.com/podcast. Thank you for listening.